What is going on YouTube? In this video, I just wanted to briefly give you guys an update on what is going on with my fitness journey. For many of you guys watching, I haven't been posting quite as much of fitness related things. It's been a lot more mindset, nutrition recently. The main reason for that is I haven't been as consistent in the gym. Hold on, wait, wait, I have a fair excuse. I basically had some weird stuff going on with my lower back and my hips, and in the past it came up as my knees and my feet. And as everybody works in a kinetic chain, where if one thing takes a beating, the others are likely going to. It was specifically in my hips and my lower back that were causing those issues, and so I cleared up the knee and foot injuries a while back, and the shoulder things that pretty much every major joint that I was working on overcoming. But I had some weird stuff come back up, so I had to take some time off. I had to drop my ego and take some time off from the gym. And if you guys are watching, have watched me for a while, you know that I don't do that very often. I haven't been as consistent with my training because of that. And I wanted to play the safe route rather than the sorry route. Meaning, I was told by a coach that I was working with that I'm still, working with that basically I should take a couple of weeks or months away from training to overcome the injury and let it heal. And basically, it was just something in the lower portion of the spine um, that I had a little bit of like some nerve things going on. And to make a long story short, that prevented me from having a lot of pain with exercise, like certain exercises. So he advised me to take time off, and I ended up just taking a couple of months away from training, which is very difficult to do, and I haven't done it in a long time. But now we are back. We are back. I don't want to say full steam, obviously not, right? But getting back into the swing of training again consistently. Um, because my first couple of workouts back this past week, I wanted to push heavy weight, right? But it's like I have to use my coaching and my smart person brain and realize that like my joints and tendons are going to need time to recuperate and get acclimated to the volume that I like to do that I'm typically accustomed to because I haven't trained, in a couple of months and I haven't trained really, really hard in a few months because the latter half of that, you know, a couple of months back I was training. It was like, I had been doing it for a while consistently, lifting heavy weight, very, like a lot of days, a lot of training sessions. So now easing my way back into swing of things with just like a little bit of weight, messing around here and there, and getting back onto routine has been good because my nutrition's been really dialed in these past few months and I've been away from the gym. So it's been cool because it's like okay, normally it's like I've been training all the time and I've been this is kind of how I got into working out. I would be like lifting weights all the time, but my nutrition was never really dialed in. And then when I wanted to get like super shredded for like summertime, I would like take my nutrition extreme and kind of fail after like 2 to 3 weeks of doing that, and it became difficult to say the least to have a consistent physique year round. And I also was putting a lot of stress on my body by like trying to maximize and get all the results in the shortest period possible rather than just like consistently developing the habits and being lean like that year round. So make a long story short, since I was out of the gym, the one thing I was really focused and dialed in on was my nutrition, as I still am. And now it's just synchronized nicely where now it's like, okay, my nutrition is really, like on point. I'm eating the consistent same foods, the same types of foods. Now it's just adding a little bit of training to that and stretching a little bit more, doing certain things. Um, Taking my physique and my health to the next position in my life that I want to get to. And I've also been running more, like increasing my cardio, my running, which I haven't done it quite a ton. Um, so I'm really trying to lean now into, you know, more of like a cross style training with like strength training, hypertrophy focused, which it seems crazy, I know, hypertrophy focused with long distance running. Like that, I think is the style of training I like to do best. And it's cool to have different phases. Like I've had phases where I don't do any cardio, where I do very little, where I do a lot. This is going to be one of those phases where I'm doing a lot of cardio. Um, because I'm just realizing that like everything with fitness, it just levels up your mindset, it levels up your relationships, your career, the way you think about yourself, like the way you think about others, the way you follow through with things. And I've noticed since doing walks, which lead to like now runs, which now it's like okay, now I'm running consistently. I've noticed that each time in my life when I'm on top of cardio, it's going to improve my training so much more, right? Like my body's just going to recover, assuming that I'm resting properly, right, and not overdoing it. Like my body's going to recover typically better from the strength training if it's also paired with cardio. There's just a lot of research that shows like when you're doing both, like you're going to have a better recoverability. And for me, because I've been so away from training, I was doing just more cardio. I was doing a lot of low intensity cardio, and I realized like I haven't had anything that really pushed it to the limit in a while. So I started doing long distance, and I just feel like so good. Like when you can get that long distance reward of the endorphin release and just like feeling like you can like free your mind in a sense, but also just to commit yourself to something, right? Like I think a lot of people, we don't like commit ourselves to things long term. um And so that's a goal of mine, is like really pushing the long distance running, because like for a while I kind of put it off and I didn't do it because it was hard. And it's like the intense cardio is like easier to do, and you can like use the excuse of like, oh, it's better for fat burning. But the long distance cardio, although it's not going to be ideal for hypertrophy, right? Like if you're just trying to build muscle and stay lean, like you're better doing low intensity cardio, right? But if you're somebody that wants to push themselves mentally, then the long distance cardio is really going to help. And here's why: like when you can get yourself to a point where you're consistently doing things that are difficult, which by the way, like 5, 10, 15 miles, however long you're running, you know, even like 2, 3 miles, like it's not by any means easy, and it's demanding and annoying on your brain. So doing more of those things disciplines you, and that will carry over in other areas of your life where it's easier to do other hard things. When you're running 5 to 10 miles a day, it's like, dude, like life can't really like try you with that many things, to say the least, because you're consistently already facing hard things, right? But I think like as I'm leading into this phase, one thing I'm really going to start to dial in is, like enjoying the process more, because times in the past it was always like, you know, I'm training this way to get this specific look. And then like the time comes and I'm like, oh, I should have been way more jacked by now. Like I'll give you a couple examples, right? Like going on trips in the summertime. I remember like, kind of being a little bit off track with my nutrition for 3, 4 months. And then like all of a sudden, like now I'm going to like Florida on a nice trip in 3 weeks, right? Now it's like, okay, like I want to look shredded when I go down there. I've been like muscular and like gaining weight and lifting, but I haven't been dialed with my nutrition. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now I'm like for 3 weeks rushing to see how lean I can get. Like I'm not going to do any of that anymore. Like moving forward, it's really like I'm appreciative of the grind, right? Like when you can stop focusing on the result that you're getting from something, like when you can stop focusing on like, oh, when I look this way, when I feel this way, but like actually focus on like the the like love of what am I trying to say? Like the enjoying the habit, right, of doing the hard thing, right? Like if you're trying to get in shape, don't fall in love with like becoming that person, because you're never going to get there. And as you get closer, your goals are going to change, right? Just focus on getting consistent and falling in love with the habits in the process, and from that you will eventually get there, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm doing like some long distance running, but to go and run like five, I'm exaggerating, like a couple of miles. I have my shoes on right here. But just gonna run a couple of miles and probably walk a little bit too, because that's kind of the goal. Is like really starting to take this serious, and we're looking at like trying to sign up for like a marathon in the next like year and a half, just to kind of get things rolling. I actually have a client of mine that he signed up for a marathon out in Detroit, and that's in like September. So now that I've been helping him work with his nutrition, his training, um, and also staying on top of like recovery and things. He's had like some hip issues himself. It made me really start to think like, wow, like I want to do something like that, and sooner rather than later. So that's kind of the goal. Is like I'm probably a year and a half or so from now, year and a half from now, probably doing a marathon. We shall see on a timetable on that. But really dialing in the training, really dialing in the recovery, the hydration, the electrolytes, and and just the long distance running in general, because it gives a lot of benefit to you when you're doing something that's hard that doesn't feel good. Because afterwards you feel like the man, and also you're just becoming a better person. Like physically, you're obviously healthier, right? But it's just going to discipline you in ways that you couldn't imagine. And it's funny, each time in my life where I've gone really into running, I've always gone a lot stronger, not just physically, but like also mentally, right? Because when you're doing heavier weights, your cardiovascular system is going to need to be able to be to a certain uphold already. So if you're already running long distance, like you're going to be chilling and in a good spot. But also mentally, like when you're going through a lot of things and you go and you run 5, 10 miles, like you're telling yourself, you're like basically like giving yourself like a reality slap as to like, okay, like I'm already doing 5 to 10 miles long distance. It's already pretty tough. I'm like life can't really get that much worse. Like what are you gonna do today, right? Like stuff doesn't affect you as much when you're putting yourself through consistent hardships, right? When you're intentionally putting yourself, I'm gonna clip this part here. When you're putting yourself through consistent long-term difficulties for an end reward that's unguaranteed, that is when life can no longer affect or hurt you. And that's so true, because it's like when you're doing things that you don't feel like doing, like you're basically just telling yourself like, okay, like I am willing to go through hard times to get to another side that might not even be there in the first place. And when you do that more and more, you get more comfortable with doing the things that you know people think are like scary or too difficult, right? When you find more comfort in doing that, you're doing these things all the time, and then it's eventually like, okay, you're taking way bigger risks, right? But like you're more likely going to actually get to where it is you want to be, right? Or you're more consistent, you're doing more volume, so like you're going to get there quicker and closer, right? So that's kind of where I've been at with my fitness goals. I'm thinking about making this channel a little bit different. This is randomly right off the top. I'm like thinking about making it more of like questions. Like if you guys throw questions in the comment section below, I will do topics on like, hey, like this is my opinion on that, or like you can ask me like this versus that questions, like literally anything in the comments. I will dive into. But I'm thinking about making different content with my YouTube, and like let me know in the comment section about this. What do you think I should do? But basically having just different like um like vlog sessions where it's like day one, like hey, like here's like day one of like like I don't know, like today is like Monday for example. Here's my run. Here's what I had for macros, and just doing that consistently. Um, rather than just like jumping on and talking. Like I think having some sort of like structure into like, okay, this is what I did today is what I'm gonna start doing. So like let me know in the comments if I should do that. It would be like, hey, like vlog day, right? Like day one, and it's like, like what I'm eating for my meal, right? And then the next thing would be like, you know, my runs, my training sessions, my macros, work on the business, like client fulfillment work. What else? Like social media things. Like I might start doing that as a vlog. Let me know in the comments that I should do that, and just like say like how you should do that or something if you think I should. Nonetheless, gonna stay on top of YouTube. Haven't been on here in like a week because things have been busy with the business. But hopefully, all you guys are crushing it. Have a great week, and I hope that you understand that now is March, right? So we have 3 months, right? Like all of March, April, and May until we're in June, and June is really when the summer starts popping. So like if you want to be in shape by the summertime, then it makes sense to start getting into shape now rather than waiting. And it's like for me personally, it's a good time to be back in the swing of things because it's like, okay, like I actually have just the right amount of time. Like to be honest with you, like if you have 2 months or like 60 days is like, okay, like you really have to be on top of things to get in shape, right? But if you have like 90 days, even a little bit longer than that, to get into like summertime, like you're going to be chilling when it comes to getting in shape. You have so much time, but you have to start like now, like within these next couple of weeks. So go to my Instagram at jstroudfit and just send me a message and say that you came from Instagram. And if you want to jump on a call to see if I can help out, to see if you're a good fit for the Achieve Your Ideal Physique program, just message me the word YouTube and let me know, like, yo, I want to hear more. On these calls, usually, I'm just chatting with people and I'm like, dude, like, where are you kind of at with your health journey? I get some like baseline metrics. And then from that point, I ask them, okay, like, what have you been doing? What does that kind of look like? Have you been making progress? Like, where's the trajectory of what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go? And then if I feel like I can help, I'll walk you through my process and the systems I use for the guys I train. And then from that point, it's like, okay, you know, I'll either invite you to work with me if we feel it's a good fit. Some people just are not a good fit to work with the program for a variety of reasons. But if you are somebody that is, then I'll walk you through that. We'll get you on board and enrolled into the AYIP program. And nonetheless, I'll give you some guidance as to like achieving your ideal physique and getting in shape. So message me the word YouTube on my Instagram at jstroudfit if you want to know more about that, or you can just actually book a call underneath in the link here. It's usually easier to reach out through Instagram. But hopefully, nonetheless, you guys are having a great week and keep me in the loop with what you think I should do with the content, with the blog styles. I'm probably gonna like very highly chance gonna bring those in. So let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you stay working hard and you consistently self-develop and get better because time's not gonna get any slower, right? But you can get stronger, you can get faster, you can get smarter, right? And you can actually have the mindset to achieve the things that you say are important, right? And if you achieve those things, then like pretty soon, like your life's gonna get better. So see you guys in the next video, and stay tuned for content just like this.